International football is over. We made it. Premier League is back this weekend. Tomorrow, to be exact. We're going to get straight into match week 8 last week, and then we'll get into the fixtures this week as well. So, last week, we'll start with Kenilworth Road. Luton versus Spurs. So, one of those games where, things are going so well in the first half, you kind of just, you've done everything you can to score the goal. You didn't get it. Second half usually tends to be one of those smash and grabs for the home team, and then they obviously go on to win the game 1-0. That did not happen. I almost think that we went down to 10 men on purpose just to punch Luton up after that. We ended up winning 1-0. Mickey van der Ven's first goal of the season, first goal for us, obviously, since he's come. A little bit of magic from Madison from a short corner from Kulusevski, and then, Van der Ven tucked it away left-footed, right underneath the goalkeeper as well. So, really good victory for us. I've seen nothing of Luton to obviously tell me that they're going to do anything this season that's positive. I don't see them staying up. It's going to be a real struggle for them, for me. And it showed. We were playing with 10 men for, 50 minutes, I think. And they barely laid a glove enough. Probably should have had a goal in the second half. Really horrible miss from, I think, Adebayo. Just got the ball sort of caught underneath his foot, and then it obviously went out for a goal kick. But yeah, nothing from Luton tells me they're going to be a threat to anyone this season, and it showed. But Tottenham, top of the league now, obviously has been throughout the international break. Sheffield United went to Craven Cottage and caught a free-piece from Fulham. Fulham absolutely serving them up 3-1. Pretty much a formality result. I had that one down as, and pretty much a formality result it is. Again, Sheffield United, one of those teams I don't see doing much this season. They will be relegated along with Luton Town. Not much to say about the game. The game sort of ebbed and flowed how I thought it would. Fulham all the possession, all the shots on target. Just better facets of play. Sheffield United didn't really have a certain style. They just come to try and stifle you and try and nick goals on the counter, which is obviously what they did to us, which didn't work either. On to Turf Moor. Burnley 1, Chelsea 4. And unfortunately, this is the other team that I think are going down. This is going to be Burnley's only season under Vincent Kompany in the Premier League for me. Got beat by a really decent Chelsea side. The resurgent Chelsea side now. Unbeaten in 3, I believe, now, in all competitions. 4-1. Absolutely humbled at home. They've conceded 5 at home to us now as well. Obviously lost to Man United there too. Not looking great for Burnley at the moment. They don't seem to have a defence that they can rely on at the moment. And obviously, without a defence, you're not gonna last here in this league. And it's causing a lot of problems for Vincent Kompany for what he wants to do and how he wants to play. What he's trying to implement, you can see. Burnley do play good things, but they don't have a defence to back it up. You can have possession all game. If your defence ain't on it, you're conceding goals. As simple as that. As for Chelsea, like I said, small resurgence. Big test for them, though, over this weekend, which we'll obviously go into a little bit later. But a good 3 points for them. Cole Palmer getting his first goal for the club as well. Off to Old Trafford. United won the game, but promise you, Man United are in big problems. Beat Brentford 2-1. Came back from behind to do it. Scott McTominay, I mean, he'd be seen now as a definite starter, surely. Saved them. Came off the bench with about 10 minutes to go, scored 2 goals. 2 very well taken goals, I must say. Turned it all around, but Man United are in problems for me. Still problems, obviously, upstairs with regards to the Glazers and this supposed takeover, which is now taking another twist. Loads of players out injured at the minute. Kind of difficult to kind of sort of gauge and see where their season is going to go. They need results quickly. Don't get me wrong, this is a good 3 points for them, but they need to play a lot better. They go to Sheffield United, I believe, over this weekend, which it could be a potential banana skin, obviously. Sheffield United are one of those teams. Horrible to play against. Not enough quality, obviously, but could be one of those games where you have to obviously dog it out a little bit. Everton 3, Bournemouth 0. Speaking of resurgence, that was from Goodison Park. Everton have obviously gone unbeaten in 3 games themselves. Really solid performance from them. Looking like a Sean Dyche team all of a sudden now. Difficult to beat. Difficult to defend against at the moment. Everton, I believe, have an XG of plus, was it 2.3 currently? Which is one of the highest in the league. I think it's 6th highest in the league at the moment with regards to the chances they create compared to their conversion, which isn't great, but what they create is very, very good. To see someone to put the ball in the back of the net. So they clearly are capable. Bournemouth, for me, just didn't show up. They do that a lot this season, for me, to be quite honest. And Bournemouth are very, very lucky. They've got 3 teams that are worse than them in this league currently, or else it'll be them for the chopping board. As it stands, I've got them being safe at the minute because they do have enough about themselves to get out of the trouble that they're in. Crystal Palace 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Probably one of the worst 0-0s I've seen in a very, very long time. A lot of nearly moments, don't get me wrong. Morgan Gibbs-White, and I believe there was another Nottingham Forest brother that ran through about 4 different players before shooting directly at the goalkeeper. If he had a bit more finesse and a bit more tackles about him, he could have rolled it into either corner. But as it stood, nothing to really talk about the game. Didn't really have much other than those sort of couple of chances. And 0-0, it seemed like it would be the scoreline beforehand. Anyway, I did call that one to be a draw, to be fair. So I'm a bit happy with that scoreline there, that I got that right. On to the Super Sunday then. It started at the Amex. That was Brighton 2, Liverpool 2. I knew this would be a goal-scoring game. I knew it would be a high goal-scoring game as well. These teams like to bomb on and obviously score a lot of goals. But defensively, they have been found wanting. So it's not surprising that that ended up being a draw. Brighton almost nicked it at the end as well. But really, really good game. Good advert for the Premier League, as you can imagine. Brighton obviously will do Brighton things. Liverpool, I see being in the top 4 this year. Brighton will be there or thereabouts, sort of top 6, top 7. That's kind of where their level is at the moment. Speaking of top 6, top 7, West Ham United versus Newcastle. That was from the London Stadium. That also ended up being a 2-2 draw. I actually had Newcastle down to win that one. Not shocked at the fact that West Ham obviously got the result. But I knew it would be one of those games again where there'll be a lot of goals and both teams would concede. Both teams are really, really good, sort of on the front foot. Left to be wanting a little bit defensively, but again, you're going to have that in games like this. But yeah, 2 teams obviously vying for the top 7, top 8 spots for Europe, obviously. If West Ham don't go on another mad run and win another European Cup. But no, both teams will be obviously eyeing up the top half of the league table. Wolverhampton 1, Aston Villa 1. The third draw of the Sunday. Wolves ended up being down to 10 men, of course. But Ollie Watkins cost me 360 quid. I needed him to have another shot on target. He only had the one. And imagine hit the crossbar in the 94th minute as well. So not the crossbar, hit the post in the 94th minute to deny me. So you can imagine I'm fuming at him at the moment. So I'll probably put a bet on him, sod's law, to obviously get a couple of goals this weekend. But Wolverhampton gave a good account of themselves. They're actually playing themselves into really, really good form at the moment. And they're becoming one of those teams in the league at the minute, especially at Monaco, that nobody wants to go and face. Obviously beat Man City there last week, or 2 weeks ago even. So they're becoming a bit more formidable. Aston Villa, you'd expect Aston Villa to sort of be there or thereabouts again, one of your top 8 clubs in this season. And got a really, really juicy game this weekend against West Ham, which we'll obviously get into. Final game of Super Sunday, a little bit of an annoying one for me as I predicted Manchester City to win this one. Obviously they didn't. Arsenal ended up winning the game 1-0. One of those games where I thought would be a little bit more open. It wasn't. Arsenal were very kind of cagey in the first half and then kind of sort of broadened the pitch a little bit in the second half. Manchester City didn't really have any creativity in the team. Phil Foden tried, obviously, as he does, but he's no Kevin De Bruyne. He can't really see the pass. He's more of sort of ball into feet, so he'll try to obviously make the space. Try to beat a man, sort of jink here and there, but none of that. Arsenal's defence were pretty much on top for the whole game. Haaland never got a sniff. Again, someone else that's missing Kevin De Bruyne. Now, what's happening with Jack Grealish at the moment? Can't seem to buy a game in a minute, and he was one of your standout performers last season, Pep. What is going on? We'll get into this weekend. Obviously, game week 9. Can't believe the Premier League is only 9 weeks old already. It's crazy. But we'll get into that now. So, predictions for this weekend. We're going to start with the Merseyside derby. That's at Anfield. Obviously, that's Liverpool versus Everton. I'm going with, despite Everton's good run of form lately, that's a Liverpool win for me all day long. We're going to go 2-0 Liverpool there. Brentford versus Burnley. This is from the G-Tech Stadium. We're going to go with a 2-1 Brentford win. I believe Brentford are going to turn it around after being, I think their last win was about 4 games ago. So I'm going to go with a Brentford win there after the international break. They'll all sort of refresh, come back a bit stronger. So Brentford 2-1 there. Bournemouth versus Wolverhampton. That's from the Vitality Stadium. Yeah, it's a 1-1 draw for me. It's difficult to bet against Wolves at the minute. Bournemouth are one of those teams, though, at home, they do tend to grind out a little bit more. And I believe that being both teams to score in that one. 1-1 for me. Nottingham Forest versus Luton Town from the City ground. That will be a Nottingham Forest 2-0 win for me there. Manchester City versus Brighton. That's from the Etihad. I've gone 3-1 to Manchester City. And I do believe Erling Haaland breaks his hoodoo, so to speak. He hasn't scored in the past, 3 games, I believe. 4 games for club and country, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that anyway, but I do believe he gets back on the score sheet against Brighton, and the 3 points for Manchester City, as they have been beaten now in the past 4. Yeah, it's weird in all competitions as well for Man City. Crazy. Newcastle versus Crystal Palace. That's from St James's Park. That is a Newcastle 2-0 win for me all day long. Chelsea versus Arsenal is our Saturday night kickoff game. That's from Stamford Bridge. I might do a bet on that, like a bet builder on Chelsea versus Arsenal. I do see both teams scoring under the lights at Stamford Bridge. I will go a 2-1 win to Chelsea. Though I won't be surprised if Arsenal do go there and nick a point. It's actually one of Arsenal's favourite grounds of late, actually. Arsenal do like to go and get results there. But I'm predicting, because of Chelsea's form at the moment, after the international break, I will probably plumb for a Chelsea win. 2-1 I'm going to go with, based on the fact that none of them can really score goals, but Sterling will probably be the X factor for me. Sheffield United versus Man United. That is a later kickoff. That's at 8 o'clock in the evening. I'm going to go for a very, very, very gritty Man United 1-0 win. They'll play it resolute. I think they'll do the same thing they did to Burnley. And just kind of sit back and sort of hit them on the counter, or sort of route one-ish, if you like. I'm going to go with Rashford on the score sheet for that one as well. So Sheffield United, Man United, that's going to be a 1-0 win for United for me. Aston Villa versus West Ham is Super Sunday. That is an Aston Villa 2-1 win for me again. I just think Aston Villa at home have too much for West Ham. West Ham will obviously come. A lot of these games are both teams to score this weekend. That might be a good bet for you, you know. Both teams to score in a lot of these games, for sure. And then Monday Night Football, my beloved Tottenham, from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, actually got offered a ticket for this, but couldn't make it, obviously, to prior commitments. They play Fulham, who are coming to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and that will be an easy Tottenham 3-1 win for me. I do believe Fulham will get a goal via a set piece, but I just think all over the pitch, we just have too much for them, and we will put 2 or 3 past them. So 3-1 win for me. So that concludes my weekly roundup. Thank you for watching again. Obviously share this with all your people and that. Subscribe as well if you can. I just enjoy doing it. I ain't trying to do anything major else. Just trying to enjoy what I'm doing. But yeah, we'll talk again. We'll start with the next set of fixtures, which starts on a Friday. Crystal Palace v Tottenham. We've only got a 4-day switch from when we play on a Monday, which doesn't make sense. But yeah, match week 10 starts with Crystal Palace v Tottenham from Selhurst Park. So I'll obviously be giving another video probably on the Thursday, if not Friday afternoon before the game starts. Enjoy your weekends, and I'll see you next week in a bit.